cultural agility, a major soft skill to address. Professor Dr. Aneeta Madhok, Managing Director at Open Spaces Consulting in India, and also she is the Eduniversal Scientific Committee member for Central Asia. And Professor Nehme Azoury, Deputy President for Research at the Holy Spirit University of Kaslik, and he's also the Universal Scientific Committee member for Eurasia and Middle East. They will share with us their vision on the topic about the cultural agility. Unfortunately, the other two speakers from Ecole Hotellière de Lausanne, they are not available today, and they are not with us, but I'm sure that we'll have very interesting session with Aneeta and Nehme. I invite you to join me on the stage. Thank you very much for your attention.
Is Nehme also joining?
Yes, Nehme already on the stage. He's on the stage.
Okay. So Nehme, would you like to go first?
How are you? Hello, how are you?
Hello, Nehme. We hear you very well.
You see me well?
No, I see your avatar. You're
okay, now.
Yes, I see you. We see you.
Hello, how are you?
Perfect, Nehme.
Perfect. How are you, Aneeta?
I'm good, Nehme.
Okay. Do you want me to start, or you prefer that Aneeta start? Whatever you want.
I think you should start. Nehme, I'll be okay if you start.
Okay, we will talk about culture and agility in the organization, and especially in the education sector. Okay, what do we mean by culture? Culture is a characteristic of knowledge. It's a shared value between a group of people. It reflects the behavior of an organization. Gandhi said that a nation culture resides in the hearts and the soul of its people. Louis Gessner said that the culture is the most important thing in a company or any organization. Hofstede dimension of culture. Hofstede conduct one of the most comprehensive studies of how value in the environment is influenced by culture. He defined culture as the collective programming of the mind, distinguishing the members of one group or category of people from others. Organization culture is defined as the way in which members of an organization related to each other, their work, and the outside world in comparison to other organizations. It can enable or hinder an organization strategy. How to apply this culture and agility in our educational system? The ability to understand agility, what do you mean by agility? the ability to understand multiple local contexts, adaptation, and work within them to obtain consistent business results. The mega competency which enable professionals to perform successfully in a cross-cultural situation. Today, global organization, cultural agility is the new competitive edge by Financial Times. Cultural agile professionals succeed in contexts where the successful outcome of their jobs, roles, position, or tasks depend on dealing with an unfamiliar set of cultural norms or multiple sets of them. Cited by Dr. Paula Caligari. Cultural agile professionals achieve success in multicultural, international, and cross-cultural situations by leveraging three different cultural responses. Cultural adaptation of one behavior to the norm of the context, cultural minimization. Cultural integration, finding a compromise is important, and we well worth to effort successful professionals are adept at toggling between them. You know what are happening now with all the context and the problems coming from COVID-19 or other, with the stagnation in the economy. We have to react. We have to have agility, and this agility is combined with our culture to react. We have to go further than usual, than natural, We have three levels. The first level, to assess, occur, and respond effectively in situations where the cultural context will affect our outcome. If we have to go online, or we have to make it face-to-face, or to go in a hybrid solution. I give the example about the education, because our main target here to talk about education. The second level, to use culture adaptation, culture minimization, and culture integration when needed, and when to have to be appropriate to the situation. And the first level, to possess the skill, the ability to have psychological reaction related to other, and make effective decision in a cross-cultural context. How to apply it in education? We have a changes now, and we know that 2030 it's not like 2020, especially with all the problem we have it now in our global world. What we have to do, shaping the leader of tomorrow. The leaders of tomorrow will be different than the leaders now. Encouraging cross-cultural education. Now we are going more and more, like we are going now with Avatar, we are going more and more virtually. And we have to adapt with this new kind of work, new kind of education, new kind of technology, we don't have the time. We have to go better than the other in the competition, and we have to lead. We have to make international collaboration, If we go to Coursera and we take some courses now, we know that some of the courses is better than face-to-face, some of them, but it's a new world. We have to go in this new world and to adapt with the new world. Breaking international barrier education. There is no barrier between education now, all over the world. It's a new era. We have to go in more certificates. okay, less diplomas, more certificate, more special certificate, international training and international coaching. And we have to go at the end to creating internal learning process in our institution, okay? Like we make it in USAC before, for 5 years, okay, we make a center for teaching learning. It's a special center, okay, to initiate and to coach the teacher to improve their skill in the e-learning. Okay, this is my my opinion. I leave the floor to my colleague Aneeta. If there is any question, I am ready.
I need help with sharing my screen, my presentation. Hello?
Yeah, I can help you. You would like to share your screen?
Yes, I would like to share my screen.
So if you push with the right button on the screen, it will appear.
No, there's no menu appeared for me yet.
You don't see on the right down corner of your screen? Do you see?
There's no. I think that is with the Nehme.
Can you try to push it? Can you come closer to the screen and to push it again?
I think the presentation is with Nehme. I don't have any right to the presentation right now.
If you want, you can send it to me and I will put it on the screen.
Do I send it to you?
So I give you my email and you send it.
Okay. This problem cannot be fixed here.
I send it my email to you. Or you can try also to go down from the stage and again up, and the tool should appear automatically on your screen. Would you like to try it?
Yes, I think I will try that.
Sorry, dear friends, just some technical issues, and in 1 minute we will start.
Yes, I can see the tool now. Okay, that has solved my problem. Yeah, I'm ready to get my show up. Can you see my screen?
No, for the moment I don't see it.
Lost the tool again.
Do you see it now, the tool?
Yes, but it says the selected web browser is currently being used. I think you have to first switch off Nehme, only then mine will come online. It
No,
says
no.
it's already being used. It says it's already in use. So you have
Ophelie,
to
can you
turn-
help us please with this? Normally, we should not have any problem on uploading the presentation. If you want, I send it in a private chat email. You send it to me, and I download it. And meantime, you can start your speech.
I will have to open my browser in that case. I will have to open my email. What is your email?
I send it in a private chat. You can see the message from Natasha. Do you see? You can see my email.
Yes, I'm sending.
Great. So I will download it, and you can start. Would you like also to share your web camera or?
Okay, I don't think I can do this. It's not showing up. Thing is showing up currently.
Did you send the presentation to my email?
I'm trying, but it's working right now.
Hello, Natasha and Aneeta. I just called Ophélie from Laval Virtual, and she's coming to help you. I think she's recommending you to disconnect and reconnect again. Perhaps it could be an explanation. Ophélie is arriving.
Aneeta, can you try to disconnect and connect?
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. Dear audience, sorry for the little technical problems. We just need to wait 2 minutes and we will start.
This is saying my file is too large. I'm sending as a Google link.
If there is any question for my presentation, I will be ready before Aneeta start.
Thank you, Nehme.
Feel free to write in a public chat or raise a hand to ask the question.
Well, it is neither sharing my webcam nor is it sharing my, so I'm going to exit and re-enter.
Dear Nehme, excuse me, can you hear me if we have a minute for a question?
Yeah, of course, we can hear you, Dmitry.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Nehme, thank you so much for the inspirational presentation and for food for thought. When in the last slide you mentioned how the cultural agility applies to education, and one of the bullet points was breaking breaking international barriers in education. So what is your experience? Which ways of doing this appear to be most efficient to you? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. My experience, it's difficult. It's not simple to change people and to react with all the stress they have it now. But you have to convince them. This is the importance of the leadership, and you have to tell them that the new era will be different than we worked before. And we have to put them. This is the most important thing. To have to put them together, to work together, and to give their know-how to each other. Okay, it would be difficult at the beginning, but after that, it would be more and more simple. Making many meetings with the staff. With the staff and taught them about the importance. We cannot continue at the classic way. We are changing. You have to go. You have to work in another way. Okay, this is important of the communication, and you have to change as you are the dean of the faculty or you are responsible of a program. You have to change your way of thinking. Okay, you cannot say the better way is to go face to face and insist in your idea. You have to change your mentality before convince the people to change. This is my way, and it worked. But we have a chance because you know that in Lebanon there is many problem. It happened from time to time, and in 2006 we have the war in Lebanon, and we have a program which I should say Montreal, and after that we start to change, to adapt if there is an accident in Lebanon, and we are more ready than other countries who live in stability. We adapt with the environment, and we have this what we say
divide, and we need to be a little bit more agile to be able to handle some of this the kind of technology problems that keep cropping up. Well, nobody is perfect, neither am I. And if maybe it's the technology, maybe it's me, I don't know. But there is definitely some gap somewhere. And if I might just put it down to cultural gap, perhaps that's what is the problem. Well, I wanted to talk today to you about cultural agility and about the great storm that is beating us right now. And we are in the middle of the storm, and it's called COVID-19. And each one of you is sitting in the audience is coping with this storm in their own ways. And from different parts of the world, in different countries, in different cities, in different families, from different religions and races, and from different cultures. And each one has got their own boat in which they're sailing this storm called COVID-19. And to me, that is a great introduction to the topic that I would like to bring to you. How do we cope with cultural differences? How do we cope with differences due to region, religion, race, and so many other genders, generations, so many other cultural divides that strike us? COVID-19 knows no cultural boundaries. It's a pandemic that has engulfed the entire world, and it's uniformly spread over every part of the world. But each country, within their own boundaries, each city within their own boundaries, each family within their own boundaries has managed COVID-19 in different ways. Similarly, when we look at things like digitization and artificial intelligence, digitization knows no cultural boundaries. Artificial intelligence knows no cultural boundaries. But each country, each family, each city, each individual manages it in their own ways. Change knows no cultural boundaries. Change has uniformly impacted the whole world. And doesn't matter which part of the world you're sitting in, change is impacting you right now, and you are creating the change too. There's no cultural boundary to change. But yet, each one of us, individuals, cities, families, cultures, nations, is coping with it in a different ways. So it's the same storm. One storm called COVID-19. It's one storm called change. It's one storm called digitization. And it's one storm called COVID-19. But every culture is managing it different ways. My friend Nehme Azoury, before me, talked about the Hofstede model of cultures, in ways in which to assess cultures. But yes, every culture has different communication styles. So whether you're from France or you're from India, where I come from, whether you're from the north of France or you're from the south of France, or whether you're from Paris or you're from rural France, you have different communication styles and different cultures. Every culture has different ways to negotiate. How do we conduct business? Every culture has different ways to achieve tasks. Some cultures put emphasis on very planned and scheduled and organized ways of achieving, and some cultures believe more in living through and achieving tasks as they come, as they unfold. Every culture has different ways of making decisions. In some cultures, the decision is very centralized and one person or one leader makes a decision. In some ways, some cultures, the decisions are more through consensus and more through participation. Every culture has different ways of learning. Many of you are teaching classrooms full of different students from different backgrounds, from different countries, from different religions, from different races. And each one of you finds that every student learns in different ways. Every culture has different emotions. Emotions towards love, emotions towards joy, emotions towards sorrow, emotions towards privacy and disclosure, so on and so forth. So the ways in which culture differentiates and divides people are many. Cultural agility is a term that has been recently coined, but it's something that has existed since time immemorial. When Marco Polo traveled to China and understood how noodles are made, and he came back to Italy and made pasta, he was culturally agile. Only we didn't have the same words then. So to me, the words cultural agility simply means, how do I work successfully across cultures? Whether they're national cultures or whether they're family cultures, city cultures, north, south, east, west, men, women, different kind of cultures. How do I work successfully? So cultural agility is defined as, how do I work successfully across different cultures? Well, my friend Nehme did talk about cultural agility being a definer of competitive advantage. Those organizations, those business schools, those students, those individuals, those people who are culturally more agile will find themselves being more successful and more competitive and able to deliver products and services much more competitively as compared to others. So let's see. I want to talk about cultural agility, about individuals, about education, about other cultures. So people's cultural agility is when I, as an individual, I am more curious about other cultures. So when I from India, I visit Paris, I'm very curious about French people, about the language, about the food, particularly about the food, about the wine, about the art, about the way in which people, about the working styles, about communication patterns, about emotions. So people's individual cultural agility is about being curious about other cultures and also being aware of one's own culture. So I know my own roots in my own culture and where I come from. So many of you would have heard of a term called when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So when you're visiting Rome, do as Romans do. When you're visiting Paris, do as Parisians do. When you come to India, do as Indians do. Yes, that's true. We must be curious about other cultures. And when I'm going to Rome, I must do as Romans do. But I must also be aware of my own culture and not compromise on that. So I need to be strong in my own cultural values and yet be able to engage in other people's culture. So there are two dimensions to people's cultural ability. One, about how to be curious about other cultures, and two, how to be aware of my own culture. As leaders, we have to be culturally agile. So if I'm a leader, if I'm a dean of a business school, or if I'm leading a team of people in an organization, or if I'm a student who's leading a group of other students, I need to be inclusive in my leadership style, in the way in which I conduct myself. I need to account for other people coming from different backgrounds, from different cultures. And not only do I have to be inclusive, I also have to define an inclusive agenda for my organization, for my business school, for my group, or whatever it is that I'm leading. So, a leader's cultural agility is defined by being inclusive and also defining an inclusive agenda for the group of people that I lead. As an educator, and most of us are educators here, including myself, we need to be agile to cultures as defined by different languages. I might have students or other faculty members in my business school talking different languages, and every language has a different form of expression. And the same emotion or the same feelings are expressed differently in different cultures. So language is first barrier to culture. And if I'm able to master the language divide, I would be able to be more culturally agile. Pedagogy. I find that if you go to America, the teaching style is very different. It's very research-based, it's very concrete. Whereas if I come to Europe, the teaching style is very much experience-based and very much learning through experience. If I come to India, teaching styles are much more knowledge-driven and, imparting of knowledge. So there is a cultural difference in the pedagogy and in the manner in which we teach. As an educator, how I define achievement of my student is very different in different cultures. If I have a student who's coming from China, for him or her, the achievement means something completely different. And if I have a student who is from France, the word achievement means something completely different. If I'm coming from America, the word achievement means different from India, and from every different culture, achievement is something different. When I look at learning style, the manner in which learning happens, students' learning styles. If you look at more towards the Far East, the learning is a lot through knowledge and memorization. And as you go more towards West, the learning is more through abstract thinking and more through strategic thinking. So the learning styles are very different. As an educator, if I have to be inclusive, I have to include all kinds of learning styles in my classroom. The manner in which we do evaluations and assessments are very different depending upon cultural differences in my audience. So educators' cultural agility is defined by how culturally relevant is my language, is my pedagogy, is my achievement, my adaptability to learning styles, and also the manner in which I evaluate. One question I was asking myself for a long time, can cultural agility be taught? Is it something that can be taught? Is it something that can be learned? And I myself have traveled and worked in about 30 or 40 different countries. I myself have understood or tried to understand at a superficial level sometimes cultures from different parts of the world. And I have learned about different cultures. Yes, cultural agility can be taught and can be learned. And we need to start incorporating cultural agility as a subject in our classrooms. So, for example, I was listening to Mr. Daniel Trasa, who's the Dean of Nova School of Business and Economics, earlier this morning. And he was talking about how they focus on the 5 C's for developing their education policies. He talked about courage, creativity, collaboration, commitment, and communication. And I would like to request him to also consider cultural agility as one more C that they can add to the way in which they develop their course curriculums and in the way in which they impart their education. So cultural agility needs to become a part of business school agenda, because today business is not within the bricks and mortar walls of your office or your organization. Business is in cyberspace. And through cyberspace and through the internet, we reach our business in all parts of the world. And if we cannot understand the way our stakeholders in different parts of the world learn and adapt and communicate and engage, we will be failing in our tasks to train our students of our business schools. So we need to include cultural agility as a core part of the curriculum of business schools. Before I close today, I want to talk about a small quotation. India's most famous personality is Mahatma Gandhi. I know you like our Prime Minister, but no, we talk about Mahatma Gandhi as the most famous personality of India. Maybe after Gautam Buddha, I don't know. And Mahatma Gandhi has a quotation on cultural agility, which I would like to share with you. Mr. Gandhi says, I do not want my house to be walled in on all sides and my windows to be stuffed. I want the culture of all lands to be blown about my house as freely as possible. I want to leave my windows and doors open for the cultures to come in. But I refuse to be blown off my feet by any. So think of yourself as a house with doors and windows open and allowing the culture of all the lands to come in and blow through your house. But stay close to your core and stay true to your core and stay true to your own culture where you first came from. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies again for the technical problems that we have encountered. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aneeta. Thank you very much, dear Nehme. It was very interesting, brilliant presentations. Let's give a big round of applause to Nehme and Aneeta. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from our audience? Please, as you know,